Welcome back to the Digg podcast. I am your host, Caroline O'Neill, and today you're listening to a Digg highlight. So these are wee highlight moments in the most unbelievable conversations that I've had over the past few years, and this one is no different. This is with Sinéad Brady, who is a career psychologist, and you need to keep listening if you're someone who is perhaps unsettled or not happy or wanting a change in your career. So this is different than changing your job. So a lot of people throughout their life will change their job within the same career, if that makes sense. But Sinead really dives deep into people who aren't happy in the career that they're in. She has had that experience. She has walked that path, and she gives great advice to people who are on that journey too. Honestly, she's so straight talking, and she's going to give you actual actionable tips that you can do if you're that person who has that gut feeling, I'm not happy in this career. I want a total change, but I'm afraid I don't know the next steps forward. This is a highlight moment in my conversation with her. I quote her at almost every corporate talk and talks that aren't corporate as well, to all community groups. Wherever I go to speak, I normally always quote Sinead Brady, the career psychologist, because her work in life is such a big part of our whole lives, and it's never straightforward. It's often curvy, like mine. So I hope you enjoy this highlight moment. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube, or follow on Apple or Spotify. And it means that we can keep bringing these great guests to you each week. And now over to Sinead.
When I was in that early stage of my career, I was one of those people that left school at 17. I was very young, moved to Dublin, did an undergrad, went to the King's Inns to train as a barrister. Both grannies thought this was the business. I decided I didn't want to be a barrister, and that was a shock. But I had to finish it out. My parents were like, you must finish it out. So I finished it out, and then I decided that I wanted to go into careers, and I did a master's in career guidance in Trinity, and I was one of the first two people in Ireland to qualify that wasn't a teacher beforehand. So I never trained as a teacher, but I qualified as a guidance counsellor to operate within the secondary school system. And then I did my psychology qualification, and then I did my coaching psychology, and subsequently the occupational psychology. So I have been that person. And in the early years, it wasn't as hard as you say. But when I got a bit older, the joke was, what's Sinead going to be when she grows up? And it was 40 was the answer my family would give. And I'm now beyond that. And I'm still not there. So what I would say to people is, set your non-negotiables. What is important to you during this season of your life? And be very careful around your financial stability, because as you grow into different seasons of life, financial security becomes different. So when you're a bit younger, it might be just yourself, or you might have no other responsibilities, caregiving or otherwise. But as you get older, there's different responsibilities, and they're different for everybody. But you'll still have to pay rent, pay a mortgage, maybe health insurance, whatever it is that you need to cover for you and the people in your life that you love. And understand what your financial non-negotiables are. Understand what it is that you need to cover if you're 6 months not working, or a year not working, or whatever that looks like. And don't shriek away from that, because that's so easy to step away from. Understand what you need to cover the bills, and then understand what you need to have for the little extra luxury, and then what you'd have if it was all going really, really well. And then make your decision about your career. But be rational about your decision-making process. So be really comfortable in that decision-making process yourself. Understand your career to date, that's through your career story, and then make a decision about what your next step is during this season of your life. And you don't have to discuss that with everybody before you make the decision. So everyone has a support circle of some type, and you will have different people in your support circle for different reasons. And I, like with your mum, my mum was like, I left a permanent pensionable job 6 weeks after having our first baby. And I just couldn't go back. I'd promised her when she was born, the day afterwards, and she's nearly 12 now, but the day after, I was sitting in the bed with her. I'd had a section and I couldn't move. I didn't know what was after. I was just all over the place. And I was like, I was so afraid of breaking her. When I break her physically, psychologically, I was like, what am I going to do with this little person that completely depends on me? And I promised her, I said, Sive, I promise you that I will be a role model. I'll teach you right from wrong, and that I will always be here for you no matter what. And I made that promise to each of my 4 kids the morning after they were born. And couple of weeks after she was born, I was brought back to the permanent pensionable job in a meeting, and I was going to have to do something that I wasn't qualified for, that was totally different from the job I left. And I said, I can't. I made that promise to Sive. And if I break that promise now, I'm done as a mother. So I left. And there was a long story to that, but I left. And I didn't tell everybody immediately, but my own mother was like, this is the time when you need this job because you have your summers off, you have your evenings off, you know, and it's permanent and it's pensionable. And I was like, I know, but it's making me so sad. I'm so sad in this job and I won't be a good mother. I can't be a good mother when I'm in this job. And I left. And it was the hardest decision because I loved the function of what I was doing. And so it's not easy making that decision. And there are influential people who will say things to you that you don't want them to say. You want them to say, you're doing the right thing for you. That's the right thing for you. But maybe they're not the person in your support circle that you need to turn to for that advice. Maybe you need to turn to that person and say, will you give me a hug? That's the support that you need from that person. And actually, the career advice or the advice about the next season of your life is from somebody in your support circle, maybe somebody you pay. So it might be that you need to go to external and get external advice, or somebody in your support circle who you know will be honest, will be non-judgmental, and won't be afraid of saying, you know what, you're making the right decision, but be really rational in this decision. So think it out, be strategic, be clear about your next step, understand your finances, understanding what you're going to do next, why you're going to do it, and how you're going to do it. It may not be the perfect plan. You may have to curve in it. That's why they're curvy careers. But understand that not the person that you want that support from in your support circle may not always be the person to give you that. So maybe just to protect yourself, you step back, you make your decision around your non-negotiables. This is what I need from my career. This is why I need it. This is how I'm going to do it. And this is what I'm going to do. And then you have the discussion with that person. And if they say, well, what about your finances? What about your pension? You have the answer to those questions. So you're able to say, well, my pension will still be there. Financially, I'm actually secure for 2 years. So I have the option to do this, or I'm secure for 6 months or whatever. Or we've actually thought about this. And I'm going to take a role that I'm not emotionally attached to, but covers all the general expenses so that I can go down this route. So you have the answers to those questions that you know that person who loves you and cares about you is going to ask. But you're able to manage it because you've emotionally developed the answers to those questions. And that takes work. It's not easy. So anybody that says they've changed career overnight or done something quick, were either lucky in the choice that they made or telling absolute complete lies. Because it's not possible to change path or career overnight. And I would say to anybody that's kind of looking at this and going, okay, so I'm going to do a personality test, or I'm going to do a careers test, and that will tell me what I should be. Please don't pay a lot of money for something like that, because they are a piece of the puzzle. They're not the entirety of it. And some of them are about as reliable as a horoscope. Now, that's not saying that people who believe in horoscopes, I don't mean, but they are not, from an academic perspective, they're not reliable, they're not valid, you can't repeat them. So you need to be really careful. And there are some opportunities, let's call it, I'm saying that with a hesitancy, where you will be asked for huge amounts of money to do a battery of these tests.
Oh, I didn't know this. I didn't know about those tests.
Yes.
Okay.
And, there's an opportunity, and it's like 6 weeks, and this would be, that is just not the right way to go about it. If they form part of an overall process that is months long, that's different. But if it's like a quick fix, you have to ask yourself, what is the value and integrity of this? Because I'm investing for the next 5, 10 or 15 years of my life. Mm-hmm. So really cling to the idea of being rational. Think about it, self-reflect, understand why, understand how, understand what next. But don't end up rationalising a decision for 20 years and going, well, I've made this decision, it was a quick one, and now I have to kind of step into it and just get on with it, be gritty about this, even though I know it's not the right decision. That's rationalising. Being rational is going, I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this. Now this is why I'm doing this. And it mightn't be 100% perfect in the curvy career, but At least you know you did your best to understand what next. But don't rationalise a bad decision for 20 years.
Okay, so when I'm listening to you, I think what was on my side for my big career change was youth and no responsibilities. So I wasn't married, no mortgage, living at home. And if it didn't work out, I'd just go back to occupational therapy.
Yeah.
Now I have a lot more. So it's just like you've said. And I think the big thing that scares people is money, right? Let's face it.
Absolutely.
So what you said there's good is you have a lot of work to do before you do make the big decision.
Absolutely.
And it's okay to be listening to podcasts and thinking about it and asking people and all before you take the leap. It's important you do that, right?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Part of that.
And like you need to kind of think about it as like think big, but act small. So what I mean by that is like, you know, you break your steps up. So you look at the end picture to where you think you might want to go. And then you begin to kind of problem solve and risk-freely evaluate what does that look like? Can I talk to people in the industry? Is there a way that, you know, around the qualification, as in, can I do it part-time? Is there a risk-free way to learn a little bit? Can I do a micro-learning module, which is like this mini piece of learning that will have a credit within it, maybe 5 credits, that helps me to understand what this profession is like. And actually, I'm really engaged in that. Now I want to talk to somebody who actually does this job. Now, don't just talk to one person, because that person might love their job, they might hate their job, they might not really care. So, you know, begin to talk to a few people that are doing that particular role and see what the opportunities are like. See if you can take, you know, maybe a 4-day week or reduce your week in some way so that you can begin to get risk-free access before you make decisions. Because making very big decisions very quick often leads to rationalisation, and that's a problem. So think about your tasks as being the big task, the macro task, and then reverse engineer and go, okay, so this is the big thing. Then I'm going to take a maxi task, then I'm going to do a mini task, and then I'm going to micro task. And look at, well, what does that look like? So what's the micro task? What can I do in the next 3 months? What can I do in the next 6 months? What can I do in the next 12 months? And what can I do in the next 18 months? So then you have this kind of pattern to what you're doing, how you're doing it, why you're doing it.
Okay, so this is a piece of work here that we're talking on for our career change.
Yeah.
And I suppose it's when people don't do that work and then they fall into their new position and then they're like, have I done the right thing? And then it's panic, anxiety, stress, all of that.
Yeah. But this is about career change, not job change.
Yes.
So job change is very different. So if you want to change job in the same industry, or you want to move to a different industry, but you want to retain the function of what you're doing, which is, you know, you're going to stay as a marketing director, or you're going to stay as an occupational therapist, or whatever it is that you're doing, but you want to change industry or change job, that's a whole different ballgame.
Yes.
This is talking about career changes, where you're going from teacher to engineer, or, you know, something as absolute as that. So job change is totally different. That's where you're going and you're asking yourself, well, what industry do I want to work in? What does the next job look like for me? So that's different, and that can happen quite quickly. But the career piece has to be thought out and considered.
You see, I told you she'd be able to help you see through the fog, and it's not easy. Like I said, I've been there, and whenever you get older, especially, and you have different responsibilities, you don't just make that decision really, really quickly. So following someone like Sinead, listening to our full conversation, which is in the show notes, will really help you just get some clarity about the way forward. As I said, I quote her in almost every talk that I do, and I always will. She's an amazing person, and the advice that she gives is just so real. So I hope you enjoyed it. We love looking back on our Digg highlights, and it really reminds us just all the amazing guests that we've had over the last 5 years. Can't believe I'm saying that. I will see you all next time on the Digg podcast. Thanks for listening. And if you know someone that you think would benefit from listening to this, why not just share this episode? You never know when it can just help them on their journey too.